Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Saturday Cup Series here as we tackle Kentucky once again. Of course, going to be 200 miles here, 134 laps on the docket here for the, I do believe, Sugarland Distilling 200. So definitely a whole new cast of characters here this evening. Can't wait to see what these guys have in store for us as we tackle this track. Been very difficult racetrack, especially when it comes to tire wear and the way you drive it. I do know Don Avery was one of the strong ones on Thursday. I expect to see him being very strong here tonight. Of course, my name is Brian Britt, and I am joined in the booth by Big Al. How you doing tonight?
This is Sparta. I'm doing pretty good, man. Just excited to be back in Kentucky one more time, and I think this is going to do it for us for quite a bit. I don't believe we'll be doing any more races probably for the end of the year, maybe getting ready for Christmas, geared up. So this is going to be an opportunity for a lot of drivers, all the ones that are here, to actually come in and gain some valuable points. It's not a very big field here tonight, so that means for the drivers that are present, Brian, they're going to actually be able to get pretty much a full run of the place if you think about it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know Kenny Powell not here tonight, and that's kind of going to be the weirdest thing about it, him not being here. Um, well, it says he's actually signed up. I could have swore I heard he was not going to be here in tonight's race, but it looks like maybe some last
Yeah,
second changes here possibly for him because that's what I had been told by everybody that he wouldn't be here.
yeah, I don't think he's going to actually race. I do believe he is going to do the initial drivers meeting and just get everybody going, and then he will be you know you know invisible, kind of like your leadership.
Now, what the heck is that supposed to mean?
Nothing. I'm just saying, attitude reflect leadership.
Whatever, Big Al. I'm not picking any fights with you here tonight, but let's go ahead and talk about some of the race fact. Looks like we got 134 laps, as I said before. Stages are 20 and 50. Race ending on 134 going to 135. 5 sets of tires, 4 down actually in the pits. 52 laps is the fuel window here tonight. And, of course, as always in ISCA, it's very likely we will see those green flag pit stops. But I'll tell you what, last Saturday at Charlotte, it definitely wasn't really exactly like that. And of course, the Thursday race and the Saturday race were completely different. But I think this one's going to be fairly similar to Thursday, though. A little bit less people out there, but like you said, points are going to be on the line, and guys are going to be wanting to grab as many as they possibly can. We saw guys on Thursday desperately trying to get stage points.
And this is definitely going to be the opportunity to do that because with this field not being as large as what we're used to seeing, every point position is going to matter. As we are like, I think we're 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes before we actually get qualifying done. Just this is going to be a really good opportunity for these guys to end the year on a positive note, though, and just kind of go into next year with as much momentum as they can.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely going to value the break for sure and spend some time with the family and bring in the new year. And can't wait to see the fresh start that we'll kind of have. I mean, even though it's not really a fresh season, it'll be a fresh new year. And can't wait to see what that future holds for sure. As looks like qualifying is still going on, a little bit under 2 minutes left. Randy Mullins right now at the top of the board. Definitely some fast guys in practice, that's for sure. Wes Dobbs was one of the fastest in practice. As I mentioned, Don Avery, he was at the top of the board, but looks like he was not able to qualify as well as he did. Or I know he was practicing qualifying in the practice session. But Randy Mullins, of course, showed some significant speed on Thursday, so I think he might be another one to keep an eye out for. But it didn't seem like he had the speed maybe on the longer run. We'll have to wait and see how that kind of goes here. Of course, this is a little bit different track state, wouldn't you say, Big Al?
Yeah, it's a lot of different track state. Right now, the inward air temperature is 83 degrees. Track temps 92 degrees. It winds out of the southwest at 8 miles an hour. That's slightly cooler than what we actually dealt with on Thursday. And like you said, Randy Mullins, he did actually have a pretty stellar performance there starting on the pole. But I don't know. I think he came up short towards the end of the race. But as qualifying is starting to wrap up, we'll see if he'll actually be able to duplicate any of his efforts. Looks like Dad Darren Mullins is actually qualifying all the way back in 7th place here tonight. Maybe both of those two, that's a father and son team. Hopefully they'll actually have a better run tonight.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we saw those both, Randy Mullins get the pole and Darren Mullins is outside pole. So, I mean, that was probably the first time in ISCA we've seen a father and son get the top two on qualifying. But Darren definitely did struggle a little bit on the later run. But let's go ahead and take that step away, play our national anthem. We'll be right back with the gridding order for tonight's action.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Driver, start your engine!
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the grid set for this evening's action. Randy Mullins going to be qualifying on the pole for the second time this week. Jose Acosta going to be starting on the outside pole. Just a moment, we're having a little bit of a delay here on the overlay. Don Avery qualified in third place. Wes Dobbs in fourth. Fifth place, Alan Henson, with sixth place being Kendall Levron. Seventh place, Greg Wachinski. Eighth place, Darren Mullins. Ninth place is going to be Gary Adamson. Rounding out our top 10, though, is Chris Severa. Kenny Powell going to be starting in 11th place. 12th place is going to be Paul Olson. 13th place is going to be Derek Jacobs, with 14th being Andrew Layton. And that will round out our 14-car field here this evening.
Yeah, I was just sitting there going through the lineup, and then you started talking over me, and I said ATVO. So
Yeah, I couldn't hear you at all, Big Al.
yeah, yeah, it's going to be like that sometimes, especially if you got it set up that way. Don't think Kenny Powell's going to be gritting, though. That's what I was actually saying. I think he was just kind of acted as race control.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to not have him here this evening. I mean, we'll have to see how that works out. Especially, I know we have it mostly automated when it comes to the caution for the stages, but I'll tell you what, usually when he's not here, something could go wrong. You never know. Well, hopefully everything will go smoothly here this evening. Definitely everybody hopefully on their P's and Q's when it comes to how they race each other. But I have no doubts we're going to see some contact out here tonight.
Robin's racing.
Especially considering just how tight these cars get into these corners. I mean, we talked about it on Thursday about, a lot of brake being featured at this racetrack, some different gears, a lot of off-throttle time.
Yeah, the key is, I mean, it's going to be a great race. It should go by relatively quick. And these guys are actually going to get early Christmas presents. I mean, if you can just keep your nose clean, you should actually be able to make some money here tonight, Brian.
Where's the money at? I want some.
I'm just saying, I mean, this is one of those times, usually we say risk it for the biscuit, but with only 13 cars in the field, I mean, you just got to be faster than the slowest three, and, you can actually make pay dirt. So, and you know how hard it is to get points. That's the hardest thing to do throughout the season is to gather points because you just, and that's why those stage breaks are so important for drivers, just going into it. You just got to make hay while the sun shines, as Brian Britt says.
Yeah, you definitely do. Those stages are very, very important. I mean, we saw on Thursday Matt DeCiani get, sweep the stages and, might not have finished the race as well as he probably could have, but still got some very good points because of those stages. And we'll have to see who is going to be really at the top when it comes to, performances on the 20-lap and 25-lap run. Of course, in that last stage, going to see what that longer run is going to look like, and that is when it's going to get quite tricky, just considering how these cars seem to be handling on the later stages. Some guys are going to be turning towards that loose condition. Some guys are going to be turning towards the tight side. So we'll have to wait and see as we still are waiting for everybody to get rolling here. Everybody probably sitting there in anticipation, waiting to get these cars in the right gear and on and moving.
But just like we saw in the Thursday night race, drivers are going to have to be, they got to be smart. They got to make good choices. Got to make good decisions, though, because that's going to be the key to making it. That first run, I think you're going to see everybody just kind of letting it hang out a little bit. The second run, you got to be a little bit more cautious because the thing is, with 30 laps on these tires, the cars start to handle completely different. And then once we get into that third and final stage where we should be getting those ISCA green flag pit stops, that's right, as we have come to expect, I think it's going to be for exciting racing.
Yeah, definitely a lot of different drivers out here that are very quick. Kind of call back to Greg Wychinski on Thursday. Very fast race car underneath him. Almost had a top three there. Don Avery, the one I'm looking at, is at 11. I mean, he showed tremendous pace on Thursday, and the only reason that he lost that race was, a little bit of I think some dirty air off of a lap car that kind of caused that car to get a little bit loose, and Derek Heitman was able to claim that victory. Here we go. Pace car going to be taking that left turn onto pit road, and the green flag is going to be waving for the first time here at Legacy, Kentucky. Just got to wait till the Geico restart zone. And here it is. The green flag is out in the air. Randy Mullins with control of the field.
Now, Randy Mullins did a very good job of leading this field on Thursday night. This is a different group of drivers, so hopefully he'll be able to duplicate those same efforts, and hopefully he also learned the weak spots in his setup. That was what I believe was keeping him from actually closing the deal, and that is he's got to be a little bit more conservative so he can be faster later on in the run, Brian.
And already
Almost
Don Avery
wide.
has taken the lead, and 3 wide a little bit further back here.
Yeah, that 3 wide condition right there, that's going to be centering around the 62 of Severa, the 22 of Alan Henson. You got Greg Wachinski also in the fray, as well as Kendall LeBron. This battle is going to be for what we will call 4th place.
Kendall LeBron not out of the woods yet as he tries to battle back with Wes Dobbs. Dobbs trying to run that top side. Chris Severa thinking about maybe taking him 3 wide here. Does he do it?
Yes,
There's enough room.
Yes, Severa started all the way back in 10th place, so you can already see he's got movement on his mind as he crests the top 5 for the first time this evening.
Now he's going to be trying to work on Kendall LeBron. Looks like he's going to try to see if he can't work the top a little bit, possibly get a run, but LeBron goes up and kind of cuts off that path.
Gary Adamson finding himself almost in a 3 wide situation as he actually had Alan Henson up high and Wes Dobbs down low.
It's actually, I do believe Darren Mullins actually looking a little bit wiggly off the corner that last time by.
Yeah, he actually makes it through that situation, and now he has got it running. But here comes Derek Jacobs. Derek Jacobs, another driver we talk about a lot here, and hopefully he doesn't have his qualifying set left in. I think that is what's the situation that he incurred on Thursday. So hopefully those guys got the situation under control here tonight, and maybe they'll be a little bit more competitive.
We saw Don Avery take the lead from Randy Mullins, but it looks like Mullins has reclaimed it here. Avery has fallen back now into 3rd place. Looks like Jose Acosta moved up to 2nd as you see Kendall LeBron trying to chase these guys down. Of course, we mentioned it plenty of times. I mean, that first 5 laps on these tires is so important. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some guys out there that are purposely taking it easy on these first 5 laps.
Yeah, somebody that's not. That's the 5 of Greg Wachinski, as he was really close to the back of the 22 of Alan Henson, kind of giving him that little bit of love, tapping encouragement to get him going. But Darren Mullins is going to be on the inside, going to check up Wachinski just a little bit, but looks like he is going to race strong. The 36, though.
Yeah, definitely putting some pressure on Wachinski right now. You see also Derek Jacobs coming up into the mix, Andrew Layton. Big battle going on right here in the mid-pack. There goes Wachinski. He's on the inside of Alan Henson. It looks like he's going to get that pass completed to move his way up into, I do believe, that 8th place.
Yeah, and then also the 22 just coming over the nose of the 36 of Wachinski. So, Adamson. You got to understand that sometimes that can be a little bit unnerving. But Green Flag Racing continues with now 7 laps out of the 20 that are due in the first stage. And so far, it has been pretty clean so far, Brian.
Yeah, that it has. As we see, Chris Severa has captured 4th place, getting around Kendall LeBron. Wes Dobbs sitting right there, just kind of hanging out there in that 72 machine. Do want to mention, I was talking to Wes Dobbs a little bit earlier today, and he was like, hey, make sure y'all mentioned it, that we're running Hondas. These guys are in Hondas.
Say but?
That's what they said. I mean, if you look at the front of that car, it's got Honda on it. It looks like it's almost like a Honda Civic. So, yeah, apparently they've added a 4th manufacturer here.
Well, I saw that before the race started, but I was just assuming it was just,
not really a Honda, of course.
Okay, there you go. I got it. Because nothing runs like a Honda
I think it's a Ford.
Deere. Oh, yeah, there you go.
I think they are Fords, but they have the Honda look to them. Darren Mullins making some big moves right now. He's coming up quickly to Wes Dobbs. Going to try to go to the inside here. Oh, almost getting really close to having some contact.
But Randy Mullins, though, is going to be a little bit more of the story, though, as he is completely dominating this field. His lead now being just a little bit over 1.2 seconds over P2, which is Jose Acosta. But I'm going to tell you the story so far of stage 1 is going to be Chris Severa, as he now has his hot rod all the way up in 4th place after he started at 10th. That's going to make him our fastest mover stage 1.
Yeah, for sure. Still 10 laps to go here in this stage as Chris Severa is going to try to see if he can't get by Jose Acosta, who was just passed by Don Avery, who moves himself up into 2nd place. But Randy Mullins now 1.2 seconds is his gap on the rest of the field. We'll have to see how his lap times hold up here. Last time by, I do believe he was about a little under a 10th faster than the rest of the drivers out there.
And you got to wonder, though, what's going to be that breaking point. He continues to dominate and run out there fast, but everybody's tires are only going to last for so long. So that's going to be the one thing that we're going to be wanting to see as we're riding along right now with Chris Severa, and he is trying to make a move up along and on the inside of Jose Severa, and he does Jose Acosta, and he does so, which moves him up all the way into third place, Brian.
Yeah, now he's going to be trying to get up there to Don Avery, and he's showing significant speed right now. Have to see if he can hold on to that race car. Still, I do believe next time by 8 laps to go here in this stage, so I don't think he's got enough time to get up to Mullins. But then again, I mean, 8 laps at Legacy, Kentucky is a long time.
I don't know. I wouldn't count it out just yet because, I mean, that is still plenty of race time. Actually, it will be closer to go time right now. And we didn't get to see Severa actually run in that Thursday night session, so I think he's adding a whole nother spice to this mix here tonight, and that's going to be exactly what we need to see. Question is going to be, is Randy Mullins going to be able to hold out this pace that he is running here all the way out for the next 7 laps, Brian?
Looks like last time by, he definitely had a slower lap time. He was about 2/10 faster, or slower, I should say, than Don Avery and everybody pretty much behind him. I'll tell you, he's definitely looking like he is slowing down a little bit right now. So I think Don Avery or Chris Severa still have enough time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key. You don't want to get out there and just be that rabbit. I mean, you got to pace yourself with the other drivers. Although we've been here long enough, the drivers should actually be able to figure out how the track is actually racing, as the 5 of Wachinski now racing side by side with Wes Dobbs. This battle is going to be for what's going to be 7th place. Wachinski now on the inside, and that's going to give him 7th place. So he's got to be feeling pretty good about his performance tonight as well.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, Wachinski was one of the faster drivers, had a top 3 machine, I'd say, on Thursday, so no wonder to see him out here running as good as he is right now. As Randy Mullins still getting caught right now, only a 10th separating him and Don Avery.
Yeah, both Avery and Severa starting to reel in the 54 of Mullins, and this is one of those situations. I don't think Mullins is going to push the issue too much, though. Hopefully he'll be able to maybe make some adjustments and live the race another day. As Avery now battles on the inside, he is going to be trying to get back up to the lead for the 2nd time this evening. And Severa now making his move, also coming on the inside of Mullins, and that's going to put Severa up into P2, Brian.
That it will. And now Chris Severa going to be trying to do, if he can get around Don Avery. Of course, clean air and dirty air have been significant at this racetrack, as we have now less than 5 laps to go here in this stage, as you see Jose Acosta trying to enter the top 3 here now.
Yeah, and Randy Mullins kind of suffered a similar fate on Thursday night, where he just didn't have that speed late in the run. And you know as well as I do, that is when it's most important, because that's when you actually
contact here.
He gets into Darren Mullins there, but he's actually able to pedal through. These two still side by side. Further on, here comes Dobbs as well as Gary Adamson. Sorry.
Almost a 3-wide condition right now, as guys trying to figure out where they should go to try to get around Darren Mullins.
Yeah, that was a
little bit of a wiggle. Definitely some contact between the 5 and the 64. I'm sure that's going to definitely show itself once again, or the consequences of it are going to show themselves a little bit later in this race here.
Yeah, the 36, though, is extremely tight, as he is actually having to pedal that thing through the turn. So that is going to allow Darren Mullins to go ahead and get a run back over the 36 of Gary Adamson. Adamson needing to maintain what he has, though, because right behind him, he has got Wes Dobbs and Andrew Layton, and that is going to be the it for the points, Brian.
Contact with the wall from Andrew Layton. Pretty big hit. Hopefully he doesn't break that toe link. We know how easy it is to do. Of course, white flag for the stage soon to be coming out here is Don Avery trying to hold on to this spot. There goes Chris Severa to the inside, side by side for the lead. Severa, though, getting tight, has to back out of it. Oh, contact with the wall from Avery.
But Avery's letting it hang all the way out, trying to get as much of a run as he can coming off that high side, trying to contend for the lead. He is definitely defending his position, but Severa right now actually getting the nose. These two are going to battle it all the way out, and Don Avery has Jose Acosta right now coming to battle him for second place.
Yeah, Costa's been looking really good here tonight. Seems like he's got himself a very good setup underneath him. As he slides up, he's going to be able to take over second place as we're going to get ready to cross the line, ending stage number 1. Of course, we got to wait for Andrew Layton to cross the line before the caution flag will come out.
Then guys still battling for position all the way up to the end. Caution flag still not out yet. Still waiting on the caution, so that means they're still racing for position.
Yeah, Andrew Layton has already crossed the start-finish line, so the caution should have already came out, but has not yet. Oh, contact there. The 22 and the 84 getting involved with one another. That's the Allen Henson and Andrew Layton as racing still continues. Of course, Chris Severa still in the lead with Jose Acosta in second, Don Avery in third, Randy Mullins fourth right now, fifth place Kendall LeVron, Greg Wachinski sixth, Gary Adamson seventh, eighth place Darren Mullins, ninth place Wes Dobbs, and 10th place Andrew Layton. I would assume if the caution does not fly, that would mean these guys are going to just probably count these stages and we're going to keep green. This is going to change a lot about this race if that is the case.
Yeah, not sure what's going on.
Not at all. Stage break should have started at lap 21, but looks like we still are racing.
Yeah, I'm not even actually able to throw the caution, so.
I know you used to be able to. There it is. Caution is out on the speedway. It's a little bit of a late caution, going to shorten stage 3 up, or stage 2 up a little bit, I should say.
It extended stage 1 by a lot of bit. Chris Severa, though, actually able to become your stage 1 winner with Jose Acosta, P2, Don Avery, third place, Randy Mullins, fourth, Kendall LeVron, P5, Greg Wachinski in sixth, Gary Adamson in seventh, Darren Mullins in P8th, Wes Dobbs in ninth, and Andrew Layton rounds out the top 10 points man positions with stage 1 in the books and green caution flags underway. Caution pit stops underway. We'll go ahead and take a step away, get a word from our sponsors.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We're joined at the booth by our Stage 1 winner. A little bit of an extended Stage 1 there, but still you are the winner of Stage 1 nonetheless, Chris Severa. How you feeling, man? It looks like the car's handling really well for you.
Yeah, I know. He's back in now.
Chris Severa, we got you here in the booth. I was wanting to chat with you about your Stage 1 performance. Great job on the stage win. How you feeling?
Pretty good. If we're able to, it's not the easiest track to pass at, so able to make those moves early. So pretty good right now.
100%. I do believe you started in 10th place and were able to work your way up here to the lead. So definitely the car handling really well. What is some of the challenges out there? What makes it so difficult to pass, you think?
Definitely the dirty air. Dirty air, if you enter right behind somebody, you're just can ruin your whole corner. And obviously then you won't have a shot for the next corner. So just keeping the nose in clean air and getting good runs off, not burning up the right rear. Definitely what you want to do here.
Now, how important do you think these stage points are here tonight? I mean, especially with it just being the second race of the Saturday Cup Series. I mean, are you looking to try to maximize your points here?
Yeah, I didn't do all too well last week, so gonna need everything we can this week. So I don't really know how we're falling in the schedule so far. I thought last week's schedule was actually the last race of last season. I didn't know it was the first race, but you know, it is what it is. So we'll try and make up for it as much as we can tonight.
All right. Well, we know the pace car lights are getting ready to turn off there. Who can we give a shout out to after this stage 1 win?
Yeah, everybody, G&G for putting the car together and doing all the practice laps and stuff tonight, and all throughout the week. You guys, as always, for doing the broadcast. Appreciate you guys.
All right, Chris. Well, thanks for your time, buddy, and good luck to you in the rest of the race. Hopefully we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.
All righty, that was Chris Severa, your Stage 1 winner in the 62 machine there. Of course, Stage 2 getting ready to begin. Pace car lights are out, and we'll see what these guys got this time around. I mean, could we see some new contenders? I know Wachinski's been one that's been driving up through the field. Don Avery, of course, been showing some speed. What's that?
We also got Jose Acosta right now, and Jose is starting outside on the high line, so I definitely think he's going to try to get a good run, and if he could get in front of Avery up front here initially, I think he'll definitely have a better run here in stage 2. The biggest thing for him, though, he's going to have to launch as close to Severa's time as possible. He does not want to get caught up in traffic. The further back you are, the harder time you're going to have to get up front.
100%. Here we go. Pace car getting ready to take that left turn down pit road as we get the green flag back out in the air here shortly at Legacy, Kentucky. Definitely hear the bluegrass playing right now in my mind as the green flag is back out in the air.
Jose got an excellent launch. Yeah, Jose Acosta, though, that's a big testament to him. He got an extremely good start. That allowed him to get in front of Don Avery, exactly what he needed to do. Now he's going to be able to manifest his own destiny. Chris Severa now out front. I don't think you're going to see him actually in dirty air for the rest of the night. The biggest thing is going to happen is drivers are going to have to keep him as close as possible, Brian, because I don't think he's going to go out there and try to get a 3 or 4 second run. I think he's just going to try to maintain a decent lead, and that's going to be the biggest thing to contend with.
100%. Big battling going on right now between Jose Acosta and Don Avery, and Randy Mullins has started entering the fray as well. Of course, Mullins had a really good long run pace, and Chris Severa trying to break the draft on Jose Acosta.
Yeah, he's also trying to arc that curve a little bit better to get better drive off.
Of course, a lot of battling going on a little bit further back here. You see Paul Olson entering the top 10 now, up to 9th.
The draft is alive and well here, though, at Kentucky.
That it is, that's for sure, especially in these straightaways. Of course, these guys have a lot of off-throttle time in the corners, but yeah, on the straightaways, draft is going to be a big deal as Chris Severa has a hornet's nest right there behind him, all hungry to take that lead away from him. And we saw it on Thursday with Don Avery, the way the dirty air kind of impacted his race car when he came up on lap traffic. I think we might see that again here tonight. So that's why I don't think Chris Severa, even if he does manage to stay in clean air, if guys stay right behind him and he comes up on a lap car and loses that clean air, that could cause him a problem.
Yeah, but look at Don Avery. He is putting the nose right to the keister, the 42 of Jose Acosta, trying to maintain as close distance as he can. But Randy Mullins going to go way low there.
Looks like he got loose. I think Randy Mullins definitely looked like he went sideways for a second and was able to catch it. But unfortunately, he lost momentum, which is causing Greg Wachinski to now try to see if he can't take that 4th spot away. Wachinski not able to get there. Running that bottom line, from what I've heard from about everybody on the track, is when you go down there really low to that yellow line, the car gets incredibly loose. So that's why I think it's so difficult to pass at this place.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it seems like the track is just so wide, but that's not really the case at all.
Well, I mean, it's wide, but like the racing line itself is not. You know, like you want to try to stay in that racing line.
The usable portion of the racetrack is definitely a lot smaller than what it seems. It's Greg Wachinski now pulling up onto the back of Randy Mullins. Randy was running really strong there as he was battling with Don Avery, but then all of a sudden, like I think you said, he got a little bit loose, and that allowed Greg Wachinski to actually pull up on him. But right behind Greg Wachinski, there's old dad, Darren Mullins. So right now, Wachinski has himself in a little bit of a Mullins sandwich, if you will.
Yeah, that he does. And also see, look at that, Gary Adamson sitting in 7th right now. Not that far back from Darren Mullins there. Also a little bit further back from him is Wes Dobbs and Paul Olson.
Good to see Paul Olson actually running with this lead pack here tonight. You know, he did struggle a little bit on Thursday, but here he comes tonight. Looks like he has got it dialed in and given her sin.
Yeah, car looks like it's handling really good there for that 43 driver. Definitely looking very competitive.
Yeah, Darren Mullins also showing tremendous pace here tonight. I mean, especially early on here. I remember this time on Thursday, he was actually struggling a little bit. So good to see he's got his car dialed in and running strong in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he definitely maybe spent some extra time, maybe in a test session or in just practice in general. Maybe ran some A opens just to get a little bit better handle on the race car. And it's showing right now as we see a lot of battling still going on. Randy Mullins underneath the 54 gets a little bit tight. Almost contact, but Jose Acosta going to be running all the way up at the wall. Side-by-side still here as Wachinski trying to take advantage.
Jose's definitely not comfortable right now as he's got a lot of traffic that's going to be on the inside of him. Right now, he has got Randy Mullins that just passed him for P3. Jose's going to be stepping to the outside, but look at Darren Mullins. What a run he is having right here, Brian.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, we know with Randy Mullins, at a certain point, I think his tires are probably going to give out. We'll have to wait and see if that is going to be the case. But
yeah,
still have quite a bit to go in this stage.
Yeah, the same thing with the 64 as well. We'll be watching both of those drivers to see if they do start to fall off from the pace here as we get a little bit longer into this stage 2 run. 13 laps, well, 12 laps remaining in this stage before we actually crown a winner. And this is actually about the time where those laps the tires start to shift a little bit, if you will.
Greg Wachinski definitely has a pretty good view on the battling that's going on right in front of him as he sits in that 6th place position. But you can see in his rearview mirror, Gary Adamson not that far back. As here comes Wachinski, tries to get underneath the 64. The 64 goes up the track a little bit. The door is open for Wachinski here. Just not able to take it, not able to get enough momentum. This is what makes it so hard to pass at this place. Yes, he can open the door for you. You might be able to get underneath him, but you're not going to stay there very long. And this has caused Gary Adamson to close in even more. Gary Adamson has been showing marked improvements. I mean, I'll tell you, he is, every time we've been seeing this guy, he seems like he's getting better and better, that 36.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We were talking about that just last week as well. You know, and he's got to, anytime you can come out in the ISCA and run in the top 10, I don't care. I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself.
100%. You see Kendall LeBron, though, is starting to enclose a little bit here on this 36. Of course, LeBron was up in the top 5 in that first stage, but maybe a pit call or something kind of sent him a little bit further back. He's sitting 8th right now. Side by side, though, Wachinski now going to try to pass Randy Mullins.
Also, that's Acosta right there on the inside of Randy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's not. I'm sorry. I thought that was Wachinski. I saw green. I thought Wachinski. You are 100% right, though. Acosta now back up into 3rd place. As Randy Mullins, we were just talking about a little bit ago about how we thought the tires were going to let go on that 54, and it seems like he is starting to lose a little bit of pace here.
Yeah, that's the key. These guys are gonna have to be able to get a consistent run in by in which they're actually able to get that car where it can handle better later in the run.
Tell you what, Chris Severa and Don Avery, they probably can't wait to get away from each other, but they have not been able to do that at all. Avery is right there.
And that's going to be a very big point, especially when we get into the third stage. They cannot allow Severa just to be able to run away with it, as Wachinski now is going to be side-by-side battle in the 64 Darren Mullins. This battle right here is for P5. Behind these guys, though, here comes Kendall LeBron, and I think he's got himself fixed up, so he's going to be trying to get up into the top 5 as well.
Yeah, I definitely think so, as he has moved his way up into that 7th place position. Going to be trying to work on Darren Mullins right now in that 28 machine. Definitely seems like he's got a good car underneath him. Chris Severa, though, still in the lead. He's led the most laps here so far tonight. He's got about 3/10 on Don Avery right now. But guess who's been catching up? Jose Acosta.
Yeah, Jose. And Jose needs a solid run. I mean, he really didn't get the strong finishes that he really needed. So tonight is going to be one of those must finish well situations for him. So we'll be watching to see, just how well he can pull it out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know last season, or when the season that he kind of came in to the ISCA, he came on really, really strong, and seems like he's lost a lot of that initial spark that he had when he first joined, and I think he's starting to get it back. That's for sure.
Yeah, the big thing with his brother, little brother Abner, racing with him, it kind of did give him the confidence, as well as having a racing team. But, here he is tonight. I think he's the only one of the Pandora racing team that is actually going to be showing here tonight.
Well, here he comes. He's trying to get underneath Don Avery. Avery not trying to let him have that opportunity here. But here comes Jose. I don't think Don Avery's going to have a choice. Side by side going across the line. Of course, going to be, I do believe, 5 laps to go here in this stage. And Jose Acosta completes the pass, and now he's going to be trying to work his way to see if he can't get up there to Chris Severa. Don't know if he's got enough time. We'll have to wait and see here.
Yeah, Kendall LeBron trying to do everything he can to get around the 64 Darren Mullins, just not being able to find an opening. He's got the 36 of Gary Adamson, though, behind him as well in tow. So they've been a lot like Thursday. These guys are, but Darren, you cannot blame him. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Just making that 64 mighty wide and challenging for drivers to actually be able to navigate around it.
Yeah, and here comes the 36, going to be trying to maybe take advantage of the situation. Of course, yeah, Darren Mullins, he's doing everything he possibly can right now to get as many points as he can. So you can't blame him for trying to do this. This is what, smart racing. He's trying to get the numbers here. Oh, big problems for Kendall LeBron. He is going to go sideways, and I think he's going to go to the grass.
I'd pedal that thing right back out. That's just unfortunate for Kendall. The good thing is, he took a toe.
He took a toe. Why did he do that?
No, Kendall.
He didn't hit anything. He might have got a penalty, but I still don't understand why he took a toe there. Just almost feels like he's just giving up, and this is way too early to be giving up here.
Yeah, I think I think he might be onto something there. He might be just giving up. Just unfortunate for him, though.
Yeah, really sad to see that. Man,
I
had high hopes for that race car. I thought he was gonna. It looked like he was doing really well out there. Maybe the dirty air just causing issues, but he did everything he needed to do to keep that thing out of that pit wall, and he might have touched it, but it was barely. And I think that car still would have been in good enough shape to keep driving.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, white flag out for the stage this lap. Chris Severa just having to lead this group around one more time. And then he'll be waiting to see Andrew Layton. That means Andrew Layton once again on the bubble. If he can finish this in 10th place again, hey, that's 2 points, man.
Yeah, definitely. Chris Severa going to be, it's just like what we saw with Matt DeCiani, I do believe. You know, he was able to win both stages on Thursday, grabbed a whole bunch of points. But I'll tell you what was way different was stage 3. Can Chris Severa hold on in stage 3? That's going to be the major question that we're going to be asking ourselves, or he's going to have to answer, I'd say, with his driving. Caution should be coming out here any time now. Hopefully we don't have the same issue we had before. And there it is. Caution is out. Chris Severa, your stage 2 winner. Jose Acosta, 2nd place. 3rd place, Don Avery. 4th place, Randy Mullins. 5th place, Greg Wachinski. 6th place, Darren Mullins. 7th place, Gary Adamson. 8th place, Wes Dobbs. 9th, Alan Henson. 10th, Andrew Layton. Andrew Layton getting 2 tenths in a row there. So definitely going to be wanting to better that, but still up in the points, that's for sure. So happy to see that. But now that we have completed stage number 2, we'll go ahead and take that step away, play a little bit more attention to our sponsors, and we'll be back with who Big Al wants to talk to.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. They are in the midst of these stage 2 pit stops here. Let's see if Chris Severa can win the race off of pit road. And, of course, I do believe we're going to be joined in the booth by whoever Big Al decided he wanted to talk to as they are making their exit off of pit road.
Don Avery, Big Al.
Oh, hey Al, how you doing?
Hey, doing pretty good, boss. How's everything going down there tonight?
Ooh, these been some blistering first stages here.
So, how is the racetrack tonight as opposed to Thursday night?
I made a little bit of a change before I started the race. I feel tight. I'm not sure if that's because the temperature's a little lower. I'm hoping it's going to come up. My car will come back to me a little bit.
So you think you are going to be able to be stronger here in the third stage, more so than you were in the first 2? You got it set up maybe for more of a long run?
Yeah, I've had pretty good long run speed all week, so I think I'll be okay here. Just can't burn my tires off here trying to keep up with these guys. I think they're probably going to slow down a little bit too. So.
Well, good deal. We'll be definitely kind of keeping an eye out, seeing how you and Chris Severa play well with each other. What about Jose? Do you think he's got anything for you tonight, or are you just kind of watching yourself around him?
No, he's got some pretty good 20-lap speed there. We'll see what happens after like 30. See where he is then. Yeah, but he's been running pretty good so far.
Well, good deal, man. I know you got to get back to work here. Appreciate your time. Before we let you go, who you shouting out tonight?
The guys over at Triad, they always do a great job. You know, Stan Analyzer, Susan Media. I want to shout out to my wife and her dad are watching. So, hey, Papa. And shout out to you guys up in the booth and Kenny for putting all this on. Sorry, couldn't be here to run tonight.
Hey, man, good luck to you, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you at the end of this thing, man. Keep those tires cool and keep your head the same.
Thanks, Big Al. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Papa out there. Good to hear that only Sherry ain't the only one getting shout outs, huh, Big Al?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to you, Papa. Appreciate you tuning in and watching us here tonight with the ISCA.
Looks like the pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to get this thing back underway. Chris Severa, of course, able to win that race off of pit road. Jose Acosta going to be starting up on the top once again here.
And Jose actually had a tremendous restart. Now, remember, Thursday night, the restarts were a little bit on the shabby side, but Jose, I think he's doing exactly what he needs to do on the high side. He's watching Chris Severa, he's monitoring him in the window, and he's launching about as close as he can at that time. And he was even actually able to get in front of Don Avery in a secure P2, so hopefully he'll be able to duplicate that on this restart.
Now, of course, this is when the race pretty much begins here. I mean, this is when it actually there's not going to be anything really coming out here to save you unless a caution based on an accident happens. But for the most part, I mean, if you mess up on pit road or anything like that, you're probably going to end up having to live with that when we actually have a green flag stop. Very easy to make mistakes on pit road. We always say it. Pace car getting ready to take that left turn once again as Chris Severa has the field in hand. Let's see if this restart looks different from the last one as we get ready to enter that Geico restart zone, and the green flag is back out in the air. Chris Severa takes off. Better restart from Don Avery that go around, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. Avery actually able to keep Acosta at bay. It's going to push Jose Acosta high up on the racetrack. That's going to allow Don Avery to drive off onto the inside.
Of course, we saw Jose Acosta in that last stage on a little bit of a longer run, was able to best Don Avery and was even starting to catch Chris Severa a bit. I wonder if he's going to be able to do that again. I mean, this is not the Jose we usually see being good on them tires. But here comes Randy Mullins to the inside, going to be trying to get back up into the top three. What a race for all these drivers out here. Darren Mullins been up in the top 10 all night long, sits 5th right now. Gary Adamson sitting in 6th. Wonder what happened with Wachinski. Greg Wachinski seemed like he lost some positions on pit road. For the most part, everybody, though, has single filed out for the most part here. Everybody gets prepared for this longer run. Now, this is when you're not going to want to drive the car quite as hard, Big Al, wouldn't you say? I mean, you want to try to make that thing last as long as you possibly can because those tires are such a valuable resource. Darren Mullins up on the top of Jose Acosta.
Yeah, this is definitely the part in the run where drivers have definitely just got to stay on target. You got to be monitoring your own lap times. You can't worry about the guys that are around you because if you do get caught up in trying to say keep up with a guy in front of you and you burn your tires out a little bit premature, well, it's only going to hurt you in the long run. This is you really setting yourself up here for your pit stop, and beyond. As Randy Mullins now gets by Don Avery on the inside, but I don't think Avery is in any danger. I think he's just doing exactly what he needs to do. He's running Don Avery's race, and that's what's going to allow Don Avery to possibly be able to talk to you tonight instead of me.
Yeah, I think Randy Mullins definitely burning the candles a little bit here tonight, trying to get as much track position as he can here earlier, but I don't know if that's the call. I mean, we've seen that so many times that not working, especially at a track like Legacy, Kentucky. Now, if a properly, a caution comes out at the right time, that could be exactly what Randy Mullins needs. But you can never bet on a caution.
And here he is now. Both Mullins are going to run by Severa as well as Avery. Now, I guarantee you Severa's not going to protest. He's going to let him run because these guys are dialed in. They know how fast they need to run every lap in order to be fast at the end. And that's what I keep saying. That's the only thing I can say. It's about being consistently fast.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you can't really be looking for that temporary, satisfaction when it comes to racing. And it's so easy to do that. I mean, you're turning these laps, and you're like, wow, I got the speed. I can get around this guy. It's so easy to fall victim to that temptation to run that hard, as we see Darren Mullins and Randy Mullins now the top 2 positions right now. Now, once I've gotten out in front of Chris Severa and these guys, this is when I start to back it down a little bit.
No, but see, that's the thing, though. I mean, how does that even look? These guys had to run hard to get up front, and sometimes that's all racers know.
100%. Oh, yeah. I mean, and it takes a considerable amount of willpower and time practicing to know how to back it down a little bit more it's one thing to be quick out here, but to be able to actually, like you said, look at each lap and know that this is the target. This is what I need. This is the target I need to hit, and actually do it. Here comes Jose Acosta to the inside of Don Avery, trying to get back up into 4th place.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that that's not what Randy and Darren Mullins are doing. I'm just saying that, Chris Severa, that's the guy that's going to be saving tires. Josh Schaffner, he's not here tonight, but that's another guy that's going to be saving. Now, we know Jose is kind of like Keselowski. Those guys struggle with the tempo of saving tires, right? But, I mean, I would want Chris Severa behind me. That's all. I mean, you know what I mean?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a lot.
No. I get you. But the thing is you get that satisfaction where you're like, wow, I'm in front of Chris Severa. But then you're going to get disappointed when he passes you back because he's been saving his tire.
Yeah, I mean, the Iceman taketh.
I mean, he's the one that you would want to mark, kind of judge yourself on, kind of hold his pace.
Yeah.
Randy Mullins, though, last time by 32.464 or 467, I should say, versus Darren Mullins 32.534. Chris Severa now trending towards being faster. But look at Jose Acosta. He is turning faster laps than everybody out here.
I mean, we're already trending on the high side of these lap times. I'm just watching them kind of tick up a little bit. Now, interesting to note that the track temp now is up to 101 degrees. We still got that same wind out of the southwest at 8 miles an hour. But the track temp, though, now hitting those triple digits. So right now in that Kentucky sun, as it's almost 1 o'clock here in the afternoon, that's when these tires are going to really start to, to fail faster.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely a lot different conditions out here. As you see Chris Severa getting a little bit wiggly in the center of the corner as he's having to deal with the dirty air that Darren Mullins is putting off. And this is one of the tracks, Big Al, that I think that we haven't seen that dirty air quite affect these cars as much as it is here tonight, or maybe even Thursday. I mean, it seems like dirty air is such a crucial thing here, more than any other track we go to.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we keep saying, though, the drive lines around this track, they're just so tight, and with that dirty air, that tumultuous air there, that just makes it that much more exciting for these drivers to contend with.
See Greg Wyszynski getting around Gary Adamson is going to put himself up into 6th position. Now trying to catch up there to Don Avery. Avery, I think, is making a voluntary decision right now to save his tires, which is why, he in those last couple stages, he was right there with the rest of those guys up there in the top 3. But now he's starting to, kind of back it down, I'd say.
Yeah, we're halfway through this thing now, and I think Avery has a mark on the wall as far as when he is going to pit. Now, some drivers, that mark on the wall is going to be when other drivers pit, but I think Avery, though, he has a real good game plan with what's actually happening here.
Chris Severa and the 64 of Darren Mullins getting very close to one another, almost touching there, side by side, going into turn 3. Looks like Severa is going to take that spot away and enter back up into 2nd place. Here comes Jose Acosta, also going to be trying to take that position back.
Right now it's interesting to note we are 17 laps on the equipment on this lap, and that's about the time where a lot of times those tires start to go south. And with triple-digit track temperatures, I think they're probably going to be headed south a little bit quicker. So I think the lap times are going to start to trend up. And drivers, their ability to control their cars is going to trend down. And that's going to increase the probability of us even maybe possibly seeing a caution here tonight, Brian.
Yeah, definitely, especially with how these cars handle in the, trying to pass each other. When you're side by side, a lot of times you get tight. You saw kind of a little bit even with Jose and Chris Severa getting a little bit tight up on the 64. Could easily have some contact that spells some sort of disaster as we're 71 laps into this race. Now, we mentioned it before. You just mentioned it about now 17, 18 laps now into this run. I would assume these guys probably going to be pitting, I'd say, around lap 95 to 100. I think that's kind of what we saw on Thursday. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think, and that's going to leave a measurable distance towards the end of this thing. And I don't think anybody's going to be trying to stay out and wait for caution. Some drivers some drivers, are going to have to come in early just because they're not going to have the ability to control their car, and it's going to make them feel a little bit desperate. So you'll be able to tell those guys immediately, because those will be the guys that will be coming in at the beginning of the pit window. And I think we even saw Darren Mullins actually fall into that category on Thursday evening.
Look at that. Chris Severa back up into the lead now. Jose Acosta able to follow him right on through and take over second place. Now Randy Mullins and Darren Mullins sitting third and fourth respectively. Darren Mullins actually starting to put a little bit of pressure on his son there.
But see, this is the thing, though. You still have tire grip right now, but this isn't the time to utilize that. This is where you want to put that grip in the bank. You're going to want to just hold off.
Sure.
Yeah, you're going to need that in the come 10 laps from now. That's when that car's really going to start to scream. But then you still got to go another 15 laps just to kind of get it to where you're going to be at the topsy-turvy thing, where you'll be able to tip it and make it towards the end of this thing.
100% as we see Jose Acosta trying to battle with Chris Severa.
And, we see that a lot from Jose. And Jose is a driver that's going to drive hard. And, he wants to get around Severa. And I think Severa will lull him in. And what I mean when I say that, I think Severa will run just to the end of how fast he would like to go, right there to the slow side of that, just to make Jose burn his tires up a little bit prematurely, because Severa's biggest advantage is going to be how much longer he'll be able to run this thing past, into that fuel window, Brian.
Yeah, Chris Severa usually does have that kind of a strategy to where he waits a little bit longer to pit. We'll have to wait and see if that is going to be the case, but looks like Jose maybe falling back a little bit, maybe deciding, hey, I'm just going to take it easy. I need to pace myself on Chris Severa, stay with him, because we also know, not to speak ill of Chris Severa, he's such a fantastic driver, but we also know that he a lot of times gets in his own way.
Hey, yeah, if there's anybody on this racetrack that can beat Chris Severa,
it's Chris Severa.
That's exactly correct. Don Avery
coming
on the inside of Darren Mullins here. He's going to be trying to get himself back up into the top three.
It looks like he is going to make his way up into that fourth place position. Greg Wyszynski also going to be trying to follow right through. Not quite able to get there, though.
And Wyszynski is hungry. He is definitely in desperate need of a good finish. And tonight would be a solid night for those guys to bring home a whole bunch of biscuits, Brian. So they're just going to have to keep playing their cards right as well, because I think if you're
a little bit of a loose condition
really
there.
It down there, start to have the pedal through as Don Avery is right. Oh, he gets into the side of Randy Mullins. Those two swap paint just a little bit with a little bit of a door bang there. That's going to push Mullins way up on the racetrack and allow Don Avery to kind of float on off into the sunset.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there between those two. Avery going to try to work his way back up into see if he can't get up there to Jose and Chris Severa.
And you kind of mentioned that earlier. As these tires start to get worn and this track temperature now being the hottest that it is, it's now up to 103 degrees. So these drivers trying to make moves is going to get increasingly difficult to do that.
What I'm noticing too, Big Al, is probably going to have a big effect on the racetrack. You see it's starting to get shaded quite a bit out here. Some cloud cover started rolling through.
Yeah, and hopefully that cloud cover will be over the entire racetrack, because what you don't want to have like a situation with some of these larger tracks where you'll have cloud cover on one portion of the track and the other part will still be in the sunlight, because that causes a difference in the track temperature. So we'll be watching that, but yeah, hopefully that partly cloudy condition will stay to be a little bit on the less cloudy condition, and we be able to keep the track at least at a more consistent temperature all the way around.
Yeah, and it changes so much. A lot of people don't realize how much that actually affects the way the race car drives. Of course, the hotter the track gets, a lot of times that does change the handling, as Greg Wyszynski does get up into now fourth place position. You see Randy Mullins trying to maybe think about crossing him back over, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there, unfortunately.
And Greg's got to be feeling pretty good. Those guys started this thing tonight in 7th place, now up to 4th place. You know, if he can just keep doing what he can do, catching his G&G teammate, maybe it'll be his G&G 1 and 3. We'll just have to see how that works out. But either Jose or Avery is going to have to lead. But speaking of that, you got now 3 different teams representing those top 3 spots. You got G&G by Chris Severa. You got Jose Acosta's representing the Pandareta Racing team. And then you got Don Avery from Triad. So definitely this league is starting to progress, Brian, with a lot of different competitors coming from a lot of different facets here. And that's just making this racing top notch.
100%. Definitely some great racing so far. A lot of fall off as we're in that unknown zone for sure when it comes to these guys not having any clue how their cars are going to handle on this longer run. I mean, you see the fall off is quite considerable here, over a second right now. So these guys are definitely in that struggle portion of the run. 30 laps now on these tires.
Now, also additionally to note, not only are they in that unknown part, they're getting ready to go into Narnia, if you will. You know, they're going to have the most laps on their equipment that they've had thus far with this setup. And the track temperature is 103 degrees. But also to note that should the caution come out now, they're all within their fuel window, and each one of these drivers will be able to make it to the end of this thing on fuel. So with that, I think you might start to see some takers come down pit road, because especially some of the more ill handling cars, some of those guys might actually have a 2-stop strategy here tonight, Brian.
Yeah, it could very well be the case. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the strategy. I doubt it very seriously, but I do believe, yeah, you're right. Some guys are going to be handling a little bit worse than others. Of course, I just did notice Derek Jacobs is now 6 laps down, and I do believe out of the race car, so something must have went wrong for that 27 machine.
Well, I think he did the math and figured out about how many points he would get at his current position, and so
Chris Severa starting to pull away now on Jose Acosta, as Acosta is starting to get caught by Don Avery. Chris Severa now with 0.8 of a second on the 42 machine, as we're now 85 laps into this thing, and I think in the next 10 laps, pit stops are going to be underway. Avery definitely looking like he's got significant longer run pace right now. Looking at his last lap, 33.3, which was 0.2 faster than Chris Severa and 0.3 faster than Jose Acosta. So Don Avery definitely has a very good car on the long run. It didn't seem like it was showing that in the stages, Big Al, but I think it's definitely showing now. There's proof in the pudding that Avery looks like he's really good in the long run right now.
yeah, absolutely. And he has got to be feeling good about the setup and the hot rod that he bought here tonight. I mean, Jose is running pretty strong, but he's running right there with them, man. And they've got Chris Severa right there in their sights as well. And I think that's the key thing, is you want to keep Severa as close as possible.
Avery trying to go to the inside now, side by side, crossing the start-finish line. Can Avery get the pass done? I think he's got it here into turn 1. Of course, Jose Acosta should have a pretty good run on the exit of 2 here. Let's see if he can do anything to maybe fight back. But I think Avery has got it completed right now, up into second place. Now going to try to see if he can't catch up to Chris Severa.
Yeah, Gary Adamson now caught up to the back of Darren Mullins. He is going to be doing everything he can to try to best Mullins, and this is going to be for 6th place. I'm actually surprised that we have not actually seen at least one car come down pit road to try to take advantage of maybe getting some fresh tires, but everybody seeming to want to stay the course here with 35 laps in on their equipment. You know, these guys are going to be awesome if they could just make it maybe 7 more laps, I think, Brian. I think you want to try to get it to where 40 or 41 laps to go is where you're going to want to be before you actually come on down pit road.
100%. Here comes Adamson up on the top side, trying to get a good run. He's been running good all night long. You could tell that he's trying to run whatever line that Darren Mullins isn't. He's trying to get some air on that nose. You can just see how much that dirty air is impacting that 36 machine.
Yeah, and he's also trying to disrupt the air coming off of the back of the 64 as well.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe trying to get a little side draft there to maybe take the air off of the nose, or off the spoiler, I should say, of that race car. We're almost at lap 90 here. Here comes Adamson to the inside, all the way to the bottom. Can he make the pass or get it completed here? Looks like he's still side by side, able to have some good momentum crossing the start-finish line. He's going to be scored that time by in the 6th place position. I think he's got it. Here he goes up to 6th place.
And both of these two gentlemen, though, have to be feeling really solid about their efforts here tonight because, Brian, I mean, let's face it, I said it once again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but 5th and 6th and 7th in the ISCA, those are big paydays. And if these guys can just maintain this and hope to finish in such a high position, that's going to be a great payday, and it's going to make a big difference for these guys going towards the end of the season.
Pit stop should be happening very soon here as we close in on, I do believe, 43 laps to go.
It'll be 43 at the line, and I'm thinking probably in the next 2 laps. I'm thinking about 41 to go is when you're going to see the majority of the drivers actually come down pit road.
Yeah, 100%. Now, some guys might try to stay out a little bit longer. Of course, fuel window is 52 laps. You can make it that far. But I think a lot of guys, are going to be trying to, for the most part, split it in half. That's what we see most times in the ISCA.
Yeah, especially the difference now in the lap times. They're almost 2 seconds off. So, yeah, I think 2 more laps, you'll be ready to come on down here and give her another whirl. Paul Osen, though, a little bit off the mark a little bit there. Him and Alan Henson kind of riding around in the back. Andrew Layton, though, he has been right there. He's had a top 10 car all night, so now he is currently being scored in 9th place. That's got to make those guys feel pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I know that coming in practice, he was struggling quite a lot, but looks like he has definitely got the ship righted somewhat, going to be able to get some points. I know he finished 10th, I do believe, in both stages, so definitely at least come home with some points. And I know he didn't maximize the points, but he gets something, and something's better than nothing, that's for sure, because especially for the guys that weren't really here tonight. I mean, Josh Schaffner, Kenny Powell, I mean, if you're able to get points over drivers like that, you could find yourself doing fairly well. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. As Wes Dobbs continues to battle the 64, now he is all over the back of Darren Mullins. Mullins slowly starting to slip back a little bit. The 11 of Donna Avery now down on pit road. That is officially going to begin our green flag pit stops.
I like this call from Avery. Pit a little bit earlier. I mean, not too much earlier. It's not too much earlier, but this could allow him to hopefully jump Chris Severa. I think that's what his plan is here. See if he can't get in front of Severa. Give him some dirty air, and hope you can hang on.
Yeah, now you just got to be clean in, clean out. You got to have a picture-perfect pit stop is what's going to get you the ability to get back out there in gain position. Now to 42 of Jose Acosta coming down pit road, also the 5 of Greg Wojcinski, the 36 of Gary Adamson, the 64 Darren Mullins, the 43 Paul Osen all down pit road. That's going to leave Chris Severa, Randy Mullins, Wes Dobbs, and Andrew Layton with Alan Henson, the only drivers yet to pit. Severa now out to over a 5-second lead.
And here he comes. He's going to be bringing it down pit road himself now, lap 96. And he slides the tires, braking hard to try to see if he can't get some extra time on the entry. Hopefully it doesn't go wrong for him. It looks like it was fine. I think he was able to get down to the right speed there. Randy Mullins still staying out, I do believe. Well, no, he's actually coming down himself as well. So it looks like about everybody has gotten their pit stops completed here.
Yep, looks like everybody is still clean and no one actually receiving any sort of penalty. That's always a good thing, Brian.
Now here's the question. Do we see Don Avery take the lead here?
Yeah, it's going to be close, but I think Avery will have the pace to get around Severa. Severa is going to be coming up onto that access line. So, yeah, Don Avery will take the lead. The Delta is going to be Avery is now going to have 2 laps more on his tires.
And you
So he is
see
gonna,
Chris Severa there. He like turned straight right to try to see if he can't get into the draft to Avery.
yeah. So Avery is going to have to he's going to have to manage this now, and I don't think this is a situation where you want to let Chris Severa go around you. So I think your best case is just trying to stay out in front of him at all costs. At all costs, Brian.
Yep, 100%. After pit stops here, Don Avery, of course, your leader. Chris Severa, second place. Jose Acosta, third. Greg Wychinski, fourth place. Gary Adamson up into the top 5 now. Randy Mullins in sixth place. Seventh place, Darren Mullins. Eighth place, Wes Dobbs. Ninth, Andrew Layton. And I do believe Paul Olson, just passed Alan Henson, or they're in the process of battling for that 10th place position.
Yeah, and Alan Henson's going to be shown currently in 11th. He is the last driver that will be scored on the lead lap here. The rest of the drivers are either out of their car or out of competition. That's going to be Derek Jacobs, Kendall LeBron, and Kenny Powell, which I believe Powell was a starting park, so he will not be scored as completing any laps here in this event. But this is where it's going to get tricky, because now Avery has the pace to actually catch up to the trio of Olsen, Layton, and Henson.
Yeah, it's definitely still going to be a little bit of a long road to get to those good drivers. Of course, about 18.7 seconds separates Don Avery and those drivers, so he's going to have to make quite a bit of time up, and I don't think he wants to put them a lap down, to be honest with you, Big Al, just considering whenever he was trying to put cars a lap down on Thursday, that kind of caused problems for Avery.
So what I'm looking at here is this thing plays out about within 10 laps to go. He'll be actually jumping into the slipstream of those lap cars, and then that's just going to make everything that much more exciting if he can hold off Severa until that stage of the race. But then it will really be sporty, Brian.
100%. Randy Mullins has just taken over, I do believe, 5th place. Gary Adamson falling back to 6th as Darren Mullins trying to catch up here to this 36 machine. As we're now on lap 102, have, I do believe, soon to be 32 laps to go here. So we're definitely counting down to the end of this race. Won't be long now, but still a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong. We've seen it time and time again. This is that stage of the race when things do go wrong.
Yeah, this is the time of the race where you're just hoping that nothing does go wrong, but usually if it can, it will. It's Paul Olsen now starting to make his way around Andrew Layton. That is going to be for 9th place.
You see Paul Olsen on your screen. We're taking a little bit of a left or a right rear camera here that shows Andrew Layton. So that's going to put Paul Olsen up into 9th place. Paul Olsen with a fairly good run here tonight. Loving what I'm seeing from this 43.
That's a dang good solid run.
Yeah, definitely looking like he's got to be making some solid, I'd say, practice and making solid effort to better his racing. Don Avery still out in front now with, I do believe, almost 30 laps to go here. Can Chris Severa close in? The difference in their laps here, I should say, difference in their tires are only 2 laps. Now, we've seen only 2 laps still feel like a mountain.
Yeah, no doubt Chris Severa is just back there just still running his little race, not paying any attention to to Avery's time. So that's something else that's really got to be eating at the nerves of Avery, just knowing that the shark is just back there and he's going to take his time eating.
Yeah, he's biding his time. I mean, it's like when a cat gets a mouse, they're not just going to take it out. They're going to play with it for a while.
Yeah, don't play with your food. You know what I mean? It's just, and that's nothing against Avery. Avery's showing tremendous pace, man. It's just, we've watched Severa do this a time or two.
100%, but we've also watched, as I mentioned before, Chris Severa also cause his own undoing. And I think the closer he gets to Avery, the more likely we'll see that 62 machine start to get a little out of sorts.
Yeah, a little out of sorts.
Just considering, I mean, that dirty air, we say it all the time, and we're not saying it just for our own sake. We're saying it because it's true. The dirty air can really cause so many handling conditions. I mean, Avery probably the first one to tell you.
Yeah, he's doing everything he needs to do right now, though. He's keeping Cervera at bay with 28 laps to go in this thing.
But my eyes are on that 5 of Greg Wychinski, though. Last time by, he was about a 10th faster than Jose Acosta. Of course, they're separated, I do believe, by a little over a second and a half. So we'll have to see if Jose can hold off Greg Wychinski. Wychinski has been looking good all day. And you know how close he was to a top 3 on Thursday? I mean, who's to say he doesn't get it tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say he doesn't.
I mean, he had a top 3 kind of level race car, I'd say, on Thursday. And I think he's, wanting to do one better today. That's for sure. But definitely a great job to everybody out here thus far. Still 11 drivers on the lead lap. Look at that, Chris Cervera starting to close in the gap now. Last time by, he was a little under 2/10 faster than Don Avery. So I'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to make that happen. Of course, Jose Acosta also turning some pretty good laps. Was a little bit faster than Avery himself.
Yeah, but Cervera was the fastest car on the racetrack that time.
Of course, we mentioned it before. The closer that Cervera gets, the worse that car is going to start handling. He's getting into that zone now. He's going to start feeling the turbulent air.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out, though, to Darian Mullins for having the fastest recorded lap time here tonight at a 31.928. Matter of fact, he is one of only 3 drivers that is a sub 32 lap.
Yeah, definitely great job to him, able to do something like that. It's definitely, he's had a fast car, and he's sitting in 6th right now. And he looks like, he might finish exactly there. Of course, Gary Adamson is not too far behind. Adamson coming up. Of course, Adamson, another one that deserves a big shout out. We've shouted him out so much. And you know what, Big Al? I got to mention that, we shouted him out last week. We got a nice, long, heartfelt message from him about that. And it definitely warms our heart to, have guys react to that so much. We just call it like we see it, right, Big Al?
Well, I do. I'm non-biased, but you are full of prejudice and remorse.
Was that right?
That's what I'm going to say. Don Avery still holding off Chris Cervera for the time being. The gap now just down to over 0.2 of a second. So Avery's feeling the pressure now. With 22 laps to go, this is not the situation that you want to be in. You wanted to have Cervera maybe with 2 laps to go have this kind of a gap on you.
Yeah, I don't want Cervera anywhere near me. Not to say he's like a wrecker or anything like that, but if he was near me, I'd be full of anxiety. Just considering, Cervera is such a great driver, and when you have someone of his talent level near you, it makes me drive like crap. I'll be honest with you, because it just I just feel like I'm never going to be able to be up on his level.
Hey, and I just looked at the stats, and we only have to applaud him for like 2 more times.
Oh yeah, did the payment clear? Did the payment clear? Okay,
absolutely. And now Chris Cervera passing Don Avery for the lead here once again. Cervera is now going to show the way, but hey, hats off to Don Avery for coming out here tonight. I'm not sure exactly how many laps he did lead, but I know he led quite a bit.
Do you believe I could tell you right now? We got the driver drop down here. 21 laps led tonight. And, even if he finishes second right here, still a great performance for him, just considering Thursday also brought home a second-place finish. So, I mean, he's nothing but getting consistent, that's for sure.
So you know what he's getting. He's getting to talk to Big Al. That's what he's getting.
I think that's on purpose. I think he wants to talk to you.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, green flag racing, that has been the story. Looks like Severa is possibly going to catch up to Olsen here before this thing is over. But right now, currently, we're showing 11 cars on the lead lap. 0 cautions, aside from the 2 stage breaks that we did have. Started the contest with 14 cars, and out of those 14, 11 still remain on the racetrack, 3 of which have been removed. That is the 27 of Derek Jacobs, the 28 of Kendall LeBron, and the 24 of Kenny Powell. Chris Severa, your current race leader.
Also watching a little bit of this as Gary Adamson, of course, has taken 6th place away from Darren Mullins. Now going to be trying to work his way forward and maybe catch up to Randy Mullins, but about 4 seconds in between those 2 drivers. So quite a long road that he has to take to get there for sure. Of course, Don Avery not that far back from Chris Severa, but Jose Acosta, he's got over about 4 seconds to get up there to get to Don Avery.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you just you're kind of hoping that something else kind of maybe shakes it. Maybe a loose limb falls out of the tree or a chicken bone on the backstretch. Anything to kind of maybe pull this thing back together and give these drivers another shot at it. But if it continues the way it is right now, I think Avery's best shot is to try to keep Severa as close to him as possible.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that's really in the cards, just considering Chris Severa was about 2/10 faster than him last time by. Well, open up the window, Big Al. Throw a chicken bone out there.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I got a wing. I'll throw it out there.
I don't think a wing will get it done. I think it's got to be a leg.
Imagine that, getting a flat tire because of a chicken bone. Well, at least it ain't like that one time, I can't remember, I think it was Talladega, to where they had a giant inflatable orange going around the track. That was back in, I do believe, the 90s. Tell you what, it is a deep hole to fall into when you start to look at some of the crazy things that have happened in NASCAR.
Oh, yeah. A storied past, to say 100%. The least. Chris Severa, your race leader, still slowly trying to reel in the 43 of Paul Olsen. Olsen doing everything he can to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, I think Chris is going to catch him, though. Not too much distance ahead of him is Paul Olsen.
Yeah,
see that little speck kind of out there in front of Chris Severa. What a fantastic showing from Chris Severa tonight. He's been looking so consistent here. Definitely, they unloaded a really hot rod here tonight. Definitely looking to get as many points as he can. He mentioned in his interview about not feeling like his performance last week was necessarily that great. Now going to be trying to get back onto the right foot. There's still a lot of time left in this season. Well, that was weird. You see that, Big Al?
Nope.
Chris was turning the wheel left and right there. That was kind of odd.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he was trying to save it or what.
Wow, looking at the track temp now, it's all the way up to 160 degrees, Brian. Winds, though, out of the southwest at 14 miles an hour. That's the highest wind count that we had and also the hottest track temperature.
Yeah, 100%. Well, while we have a little bit of a lull, I should say, in the action, why don't we take a brief step away, rest our voices for just a moment. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with some more action.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as we see the race is continuing. Jose Acosta starting to run down Don Avery. Don't think he's going to have enough time here, though. He was 0.2 faster last time by, as we have, I do believe, going to be, I think, 7 laps to go right now.
Yeah, Chris Rivera now catching up to Paul Olson. Olson will have the choice. He'll probably let Severa roll by. Olson will probably stay high, let Severa go low, and there he goes.
Yeah, definitely. Don't want to get in contention there with his teammate, of course. As Chris Severa's going to put him a lap down. That leaves only 10 drivers remaining on the lead lap.
That's interesting, though, because we kind of had a similar situation to that on Thursday night, but it did not play out like that at all.
No, definitely not. A little bit further back in the pack, you see Wes Dobbs. He's trying to actually catch up to Darren Mullins, running out of time.
Mullins doing everything he can to maintain his 7th spot. Now, he started in 8th, so he's just trying to stay right here because, I mean, that makes him money as far as the race goes tonight. 5 laps to go. Don Avery, P2, is going to be trying to hold off Jose Acosta.
Yeah, I think if he just stays consistent, I think if Avery just stays consistent, he'll be fine. Because, the gaps between those two are a little under 2 seconds. And, yeah, like you said, 5 laps to go. Wes Dobbs has caught Darren Mullins. This is going to be the race for 7th position.
Yeah, I think Darren Mullins can actually hold off Wes Dobbs, though. Mullins' car has been consistently fast. He's been, right at that same point for the majority of the evening, and, drivers haven't been able to actually best him, so.
Yeah, we'll have to see here as Wes Dobbs definitely running out of time here, so we're getting ready to be having 3 laps to go. Dobbs is going to try, see what he can do. He tries the top, he tries the bottom, just not quite able to get there. It's just so difficult to pass at this racetrack.
You're not getting by Darren Mullins. That's what I'm telling you. I mean, Mullins is going to do everything in his power to make sure that Dobbs doesn't get by him.
Well, here he comes. He closes in on the straightaway here. Can he make something happen? He gets a good run on the top. Here he goes. Going to try to go side by side. And they're going to cross the line almost dead even for a second there. Still, Dobbs not able to get it done. He's going to sail it around the top and see what he can do. Good run through the middle of the corner.
Yeah, Mullins actually got out of it a little early, got back in it to try to get the drive off with 2 to go, doing everything he can. Now he's off again, It seems like Dobbs is going to get the run, but I'm telling you, Mullins now back in the throttle, trying to bend it around. Oh, now Dobbs has actually completed the pass, and that is going to give him 7th place. Big Al was wrong once again.
Also getting mighty close between Jose Acosta and Don Avery, but I don't think Acosta's going to have enough time. Definitely deserves a hat off for sure, just considering how great, that 42's been doing tonight. I mean, I think if he had a couple more laps, I think he might have got Avery here. But final lap, white flag is in the air. Chris Severa going to come up onto the front stretch out of 4. Sideways here. I think this might be a little bit of a show here for the fans out there.
He's drifting it home.
And he wins the race. Chris Severa able to lock it down.
Getting her done in stylish fashion, to say the least. Actually, yeah, Chris Severa is having a strong showing there, even throughout the stages. And that's going to put Don Avery P2, Jose Acosta coming across in P3, Greg Wachinski 4th place for Randy Mullins in 5th. Gary Adamson comes across in 6th with Wes Dobbs in 7th. Aaron Mullins in 8th place. 9th place shows Andrew Layton, and Alan Henson rounds out that top 10, as well as all of those drivers on the lead lap, Brian.
Paul Olson, of course, going to finish in 11th, 1 lap down. Derek Jacobs going to finish 12th, 56 laps down. 13th place, Kendall LeBron, 87 laps down. And Kenny Powell, of course, not starting the event here tonight, finishes in 14th here. But now look at that. Chris Severa burning it down out there. Well-deserved win. Definitely had the hot rod here this evening, despite Don Avery's best effort. Definitely still shout out to him for grabbing that 2nd place finish. 2nd place Thursday and Saturday, so definitely not a bad day in the slightest. But let's go ahead and take that step away one more time here before we have our post-race show.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
Alrighty, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are getting our post-race show underway. Of course, we're going to be joined in the booth by our 3rd place finisher, Jose Acosta. I swear if you had just a little bit more time, Jose, you might have caught Don there, but still, what a fantastic showing for you tonight. It looked like the car was handling really well for you. What were some of the difficulties of the racetrack tonight?
30 year, man. Man, I was trying really hard to pass Chris Severa in the pits. It was really close in the pits. And I couldn't get in front and really see what I had in my car, basically. But he was fast. I mean, Don was fast too. So I don't know. Dirty air. I think it was the difficulty in the race.
Yeah, definitely seemed like it for sure. I mean, the closer you get to another car, the worse it got for sure. But you still, it seemed like you had a good car all the way around. Were you making a considerable effort to try to save the tire? Because it seemed like you definitely seemed like you're doing much better in that regard.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know this track, Kentucky, from what I researched. eats your tires really really good. So yeah, definitely that was on my mind the whole race. Um, sometimes you have car trying to pass you, you got to let them go by so you don't burn your stuff. Uh, so yeah, I was concerned during the whole race. I was tired.
Well, it definitely seemed like it worked for you. I mean, a top three definitely going to be some great points for you here tonight. You definitely did good in the first two stages as well. So hopefully you're going to be looking pretty good in the points. I mean, I know that we're probably going to be having a little bit of a break coming up here for the holidays, but for sure. I mean, do you feel like you're going to be doing a lot of racing to maybe prepare, or are you going to be kind of taking it easy for these holidays coming up?
Do we have a race next week?
I am not 100% sure. I do believe we might be taking it off for the holiday, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, because if there is one, I don't think I might make it. Uh, might be probably too waste to
Well,
trying to
I
race.
don't see why we would have a race, just considering I do believe next Saturday is Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't make sense we'd be racing on Christmas Eve. That's time for the family. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Spending a little
Kenny
bit of time
don't
with the
care.
Yeah, we're Walmart. We're always open. It don't matter
Yeah.
what day it is.
But overall, I mean, this was actually a good race for the points. Definitely, I didn't got a black flag like last week. With that little incident at the end, didn't happen here. So that's good. That's improvement, right?
100%. I mean, definitely a fantastic showing for you here tonight for sure. I mean, after that third place finish, who can we give a shout out to?
I'm actually gonna give a shout out to you guys. You guys do a good job in the broadcast. Kenny for the league. I'm gonna be giving a shout out to my mom. Not sure if she's watching, but shout out to her. Um, Team Pandereta Racing Team, John Deere, and ISI Elite Training.
All right, Jose. Well, definitely excellent work tonight. 100%. Just deserved the finish you got. You could even had the speed to maybe win this thing if things had went a little bit different, but definitely you were one of the ones that were right there with Chris Rivera and Don Avery all race long. And look forward to seeing you. And you have a happy holidays, man. Merry Christmas to you.
All right, thank you. Merry Christmas to everybody.
That was I do believe Jose Acosta there in third place, driver of the 42. Great job to him here tonight. Next up, Big Al's going to be standing by with a regular in Big Al's corner there, Don Avery.
Wow. Don Avery, Big Al. Once again, here we meet, sir. You got me? Don Avery, Big Al, you got me?
Yeah, sorry, I had my microphone muted. I got you, Big Al.
Man, hey, once again, congratulations, sir, for bringing it home in P2.
Yeah, thanks. It was a good race. Was expecting it to be a little warmer, so I got a little snug there, but it was a good points day for us.
So how about that track temp? Was that hotter track temperature? Did that actually play into your setup, or was it kind of against? We saw track temperatures in triple digits. I think it got as high as 106 degrees at one point. Was that something that you were anticipating?
Yeah, I was expecting it to be a little hotter. I think we were like 110 or 111 most of the week in the A Opens. I think we were that on Thursday too, somewhere around there. The clouds kept cooling the track down, and I had snugged up the car a little bit to account for a hotter track, and it never came around. But that's just racing. Obviously, Chris made the adjustments he needed to, and he ran a great race, won everything except for the pole, I think. So hats off to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kudos to Chris Rivera. It is what it is. But, man, you guys had to put in a lot of time here this week. And so I know going into the Thursday race, you guys had a really strong setup, made some adjustments, came here tonight. So I know that there's a tremendous amount of laps that you actually did put in order to be here and be as competitive as you were. I guess my question and where I'm going with this is with the break that's coming up, this kind of scheduled, not scheduled break, how much is that going to affect your preparedness? Are you guys still going to be able to kind of be out there working on that racer's edge, if you will, or are you guys going to kind of take off a couple of days and just kind of kick back and not focus on it?
No, I'll be on racing. Probably do a little more racing over the holidays than I would otherwise. So I'll stay in shape if that's kind of what you were asking. And then we got Talladega after Christmas, so there's not a whole lot of preparation to do with that. It's a luck of the draw kind of race. So we should be all right for the next scheduled race in the ISCA series.
All right, so there it is. So as 2022 gets ready to get in the books and we get ready to go out, what are some of, I guess, what's your biggest takeaway from this year so far in the ISCA series?
I love how clean the races are. For the most part, we go caution free. Every once in a while, we'll have a spate of cautions for some issues, but for the most part, it's been a great league. With the guys are getting better. All of us, I think, improve every week. So that's a good takeaway from it. And like I said, I just keep working on myself, trying to get a little more consistent and a little more confidence in my setups and not overdrive them and keep going forward.
Well, it's definitely a pleasure to cover you, sir, and to cover all of you guys in the ISCA. Gonna wish you a Merry Christmas, but before we let you go here, who you shouting out for tonight's second place finish?
Yeah, try it again. They're always working on setups. We started working on Indy for next week already. I know we're not running at a ISCA, but Susan Media, Stin Analyzer, you guys up in the booth, Kenny for putting all this on, all the guys in the field. Shout out to Chris for the win, and a big shout out to my wife's dad, James Mills. He's on watching tonight, and my wife. Hey, Sherry, and thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you, sir. Congratulations, and can't wait to see you coming back strong again next year.
Alrighty, that was Don Avery, our second place finisher here tonight. Definitely a great performance for him tonight. Definitely tried everything he could to try to win this race, but 2 in a row, Thursday and Saturday, definitely not a bad points day at all for both races. Of course, Chris Severa going to be the next man up that we're going to be talking to. Our winner here tonight, Chris. Fantastic showing. I mean, I do believe you swept the stages and the race.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Racing without all these guys. Like Don was saying, is very clean league. It was real fun that first stage. I think we even went a little bit of 3 wide there for a little bit. But being with these guys for a little while now, I know we can do it. But yeah, big shout out to those guys. They're really quick. They were definitely keeping me on my toes. But hey, last week we didn't have it. This week I guess we had something that we're hit and miss. So I mean, we'll take it when it comes.
100%. Definitely great performance there. And it seemed like clean air was such a huge thing out there for sure. How big was it to have that track position? I mean, even though you definitely tasted that dirty air occasionally, though, because I know you had to start in 10th and drove your way all the way up to this win.
Yeah, the clean air is definitely it's big, but just knowing like how your car's acting in dirty air is big too. I feel like this is like, I'm not sure how iRacing has this track. I don't know if it has as many dynamic properties with like in terms of like with the weather and all that. So I was just focusing on entering low, exiting low, and you just have, if you're right up behind somebody, you just have to be slower getting back to the gas. You're not going to have a good exit, but just trying to take care of the tires the whole way.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that was the case to try to take care of those tires. It seemed like it worked out well for you. I mean, are you glad to see Legacy Kentucky kind of now going to be in the rear view, or did you enjoy your time here?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. We're going to have to figure out Indy. We were doing a little bit of fixed race this week in Kentucky and trying to figure out the track. So hopefully we can do the same thing over there and figure out a little bit of how the tires fall off. And man, if we thought dirty air was bad here, I can only imagine on one lane Indianapolis what that's going to be like. So we'll see when we get there.
Well, I do think that we might not be racing at Indian ISCA, though, just considering I do believe Saturday falls on Christmas Eve. And if you're in here racing, you be in here by yourself. I'll tell you that. Because I got to go
Chris.
see the family.
Chris, if you're going to race, I'll call it.
You call it by
Thank you,
yourself,
Big
Big Al. I'll be over at my sister's house. But we definitely appreciate you, Chris. Great job to you. We hope you have a Merry Christmas. Spend some time with the family and everything. Hopefully, you're definitely going to be this time off. I should say it's not going to be spent worrying about, man, I got a bad finish there at Legacy, Kentucky. It's going to be like, hey, I won. I'm going to the New Year as a winner. So got to be happy about that, right?
Yeah, like I said, we were pretty hit and miss in the first 2 weeks of the season, so hopefully we got a couple more hits coming for us in the future.
100%. Well, who can we give a shout out to after this big win here tonight in the Sugarland Distillery 200?
Yeah, big shout out to Gas and Go. You guys, as always, for fantastic performance. Fan Attack, Apex Sim Racing, Advanced Sim Racing, um, 3F Racing. Got Christopher Tate. That one's for you, buddy. So hopefully, we can replicate this in the future, man. Hopefully it's you in victory lane next time, bud.
All righty. Well, thanks for your time, Chris, and have yourself a Merry Christmas. And I know I'll see you before then, I'm sure.
Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.
All righty. That was Chris Severa, our winner here tonight, and definitely a great race here tonight. Not as many people as we had in that Thursday race, but still, nonetheless, the ISCA always brings it with some clean racing, some green racing, that's for sure. And definitely loved every bit of it, and hopefully everybody, doesn't, I guess, get the shakes when we're not here anymore. Because, I know might go into withdrawal, Big Al, not having ISCA going next week.
And so I'm offering this simple phrase. Yeah, that's right. Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy the time off. Enjoy the time with the family. And and it's just awesome to be a part of the ISCA, man, for everybody that's out there, that make this possible. Kenny for sponsoring the league, our sponsors, both TLC and the Southern Distillers. Man, yeah, just a great time. And thank you, Brian. And you have yourself a Merry Christmas too.
All right. Thanks, Big Al. You as well. And Merry Christmas to everybody out there that is tuning in here tonight. Definitely enjoy your time with the family, as Big Al mentioned. Because it's not all about the Christmas gifts. A lot of it it's family, just being there with each other and enjoying the time that you have together. Because I know a lot of times with these hectic lives we have here nowadays, it doesn't seem like we get a lot of time for that family. So it's important that you utilize these holidays for exactly that. And thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you and maybe see you next year.